Welcome back to the Goku Report. Been a little while since I've done a traditional video, couple months. Otherwise, mostly been doing shorts here on my secondary channel. With that said, I thought it was time to look back at the year so far as the year is almost coming to a close. So, with that said, thought look at the box office over this year. Look at just the top 20, not overall information. Just look and see what movies are in the top 20 for the year so far. Very curious, as things have played out very differently at the box office this year than I was expecting. Also, hopefully you enjoyed the music in the background from Lo-Fi Girl YouTube channel, which I recommend subscribing to and enjoying music from, as it's really good if you just want some good laid back music while reading or studying for exams or whatnot. With that said, let's look at what is the number 20 film of this year, as keep in mind we are at the end of November, less than a week left, and then December. Hard to believe we are just about 5 weeks away from the end of 2023. Time flies, especially as time progresses. It seems like time speeds up. But with that said, at number 20 is technically one I don't really consider a movie, really. It was more of a live performance, but it outdid a lot of movies, weirdly enough. At 20 is Taylor Swift, like, tour thing they did at theirs, which is kind of weird in my opinion. Keep in mind also, this comes from somebody who does not like Taylor Swift music, but to be fair, it's not targeted towards the demographic I'm in. I tend to prefer rock and metal music for the most part, though I do enjoy me occasionally some other stuff like alternative, pop rock on occasion, or if you want to say, I also can enjoy classical jazz blues. Like, I enjoy a little bit of many different genres of music in all honesty. I believe the phrase goes, variety is spice of life. But with that said, coming at number 19, and of course, all this information comes from boxofficemojo.com if you're at all interested. But with that said, coming at number 19 is called Sound of Freedom, which I do not know much about the film, but overall for the year it did 247 million worldwide. At number 18 was The Nun 2. Not too surprised, most of the films from the Conjuring cinematic universe have been doing pretty well, though The Nun 2 did less than the previous one. Still, that's impressive, a horror film making into the top 20 for the year. Um, Making 268 million, not bad. Coming at number 17, however, was kind of a disappointment to many. I mean, I still found some enjoyment here and there in the movie. Ezra Miller was not part of really my favorite parts of the film. With that said, 17 was The Flash, which made 270 million. Then coming in at 16 was Creed 3, which was pretty good. Still, I'm rather partial to the first of the Creed films, but they are still top notch and good. And Michael B. Jordan is easily, I think, one of the best, I think, younger actors in Hollywood, and I think still has a very long, successful career ahead of him. He has proven in multiple films that he is definitely a top caliber actor, and I'm curious to see what else in the future genres and stuff he ends up doing films in. So you can't go wrong with Creed movies, especially if you're a fan of the Rocky series. With that said, coming in number 15 was one that kind of surprised me, as I only just finally, in the past week, watched on Peacock. I didn't go to theater to see it, but I saw on Peacock Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Making it at 15, both being a game movie and a horror film, per se. Making 277 million, it's not bad by any case. It makes it one of the most successful video game movies of all time. But with that said, still very impressive, and I'll be honest, I'll give my thoughts eventually in probably one of my shorts, quick reviews as I call them, and I'll give my thoughts on that, on the Five Nights at Freddy's film. With that said, still, it has probably definitely been one of the surprisingly, I think I enjoyed this film more than probably quite a few people. But with that said, you'll find out eventually when I give a quick review on it what overall I give rating wise. But that's it. Coming at number 14 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which I'll be honest, I prefer Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I'm gonna be honest. As much as I hate that movie, at least I found some enjoyment with the cheesy, bad crap in it. It was a kind of enjoyable, I guess you could say. Is more or less, it's so bad it's funny sort of way, sort of like Batman and Robin films like that for me. And I kind of feel that way about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull looking back. I appreciate at least it got a few laughs out of me. This film, frankly, I found just boring for the most part. I'm gonna be honest. I was not a big fan of the fifth Indiana Jones film. I think they need to just lay the franchise to rest. Coming in at 13th place, making 395 million surprisingly, The Meg 2, The Trench. Um, I didn't see it and probably won't. It's not really my cup of tea, as the saying goes. Then we have at number 12 Transformers Rise of the Beast. I'll be honest, this film was kind of a letdown for me. It was definitely better than pretty much all the Michael Bay movies, I'll be honest. But given the potential with could have using story elements of like the Maximals and Predacons and stuff, sadly they did not use the potential. Especially given this supposed to have taken place after Bumblebee, which in my opinion Bumblebee is unrivaled the best live action Transformer film of all time, and probably always will be. It was much more of a love letter to old school fans. But this, sadly, this didn't even feel like a love letter to Beast War fans, I'll be honest. I just was not that impressed with, sadly, the new Transformers movie. I'm not going to put my worst movies of the year, but it was more disappointing than anything for me personally. At number 11 is John Wick Chapter 4. I have not seen. Um, Actually, I've not watched any of the John Wick movies, I'll be honest. Don't kill me. But to each their own. And for me, even though John Wick looks like a lot of fun and stuff, there's plenty for me. If I want a movie with a lot of action and shooting, there's a mass variety of films like that out there. With that said, coming in at number 10 is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which is probably one of the, I'll be honest, probably in the top 5, or I would say definitely in my top 5 most, how shall I put this, most disappointing comic book films, maybe of all time for me personally. As, I mean, I didn't have super high hopes, but still, I was expecting better quality overall than what I got in the film, because the first film is superb, and I thought the sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, was also great. Both top caliber, I think, comic book films. With that said, the third one was a real letdown for me. I know some people out there liked the movie, but for me, just wasn't a fan of the third Ant-Man film. With that said, at number 9 is Elemental. This is a film that seems to have been somewhat a bit more divisive than stuff. Personally, I have no opinion as I have not seen Elemental, so I can't give my thoughts on that either way. At number 8 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which did 567 million, which is not bad. And the series, I know it was considered somewhat of a letdown at the box office. Now, I have not seen this film, though for the most part I've enjoyed most of the Mission Impossible films. I'll probably eventually watch the new one once I can watch it on streaming. We'll see. Number 7 is a movie I have not watched because I had no desire to watch it, and that is the live action adaptation of The Little Mermaid. Very divisive film, to say the least. I will say, I'm probably not gonna enjoy it from the looks, especially after The Lion King. I think is the worst live act or the worst remake. I don't call it live action because it's all CGI. With this film, I'm just not did not dig overall the look, the aesthetic of the remake. One, I have a major issue just the designs of like Flounder and of Sebastian. I'm just not a big fan of those designs overall. Now, I know one of the bigger controversies involving the live action remake of Little Mermaid. Personally, I don't care about one of the divisive opinions on that. I don't have that same opinion as other people out there. But with that said, still, I think a lot of casting was hit or miss from the looks, especially. I was not a big fan of the casting, specifically of the Sea Witch Ursula. I was not the biggest fan of that casting. I would say, honestly, compared to some people out there, I didn't mind the casting of who they chose as Ariel. I'll be honest. I mean, I've seen a few things here and there that she's been involved in. I actually think she's a decent actress. And I hope in the future I can see her in some better caliber, better quality films, not remakes and stuff, because that's where I feel she can really shine with her acting. But that's my opinion on that whole issue. When it comes to other films for the year, at 6 being Spider Man Across the Spider Verse, I'll be honest, this film is probably my top 3 favorite movies of the entire year, bar none. Not even close either. I'd say for now, though, this teeters at probably like my number 2 movie of the year, in all honesty. But you'll find out at the end of the year when I give my top 10 favorite films of the year. But just know this is going to be in the top 3. Very easily because I'm glad more and more people are getting to learn and know the character of Miles Morales. I think it's time, and that's something else I'm glad about the games have also done as right now on my main channel, as I've already talked about stuff before. Um, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is definitely going to be definitely in my top 10, if not top 5 favorite games of the year. Superb, loved the story, loved the boss fights with Venom, was a lot of fun, a blast. And I loved getting to play again with Miles Morales as he was a lot of fun in his own solo game, which I actually enjoyed more his solo game than the original first Spider-Man game, in all honesty. Gameplay wise, story, I'm more 50-50 on, but I'll be honest, definitely there's a lot of elements I love about Miles Morales' character, especially. And I'm curious to see what goes forward, honestly, in the DLC and stuff for Spider Man 2. At 5 is Fast 5 or Fast 6, whatever you want to call it. For me, don't really care one way or the other. For me, the fast films are fast films. They're mindless action movies for people who love over the top action scenes and stuff with real no story of substance. Now, keep in mind, I do love my action movies, but on occasion, I do like to have action movies with a little bit more thought put into the actual story of the world and stuff. Perfect example, I would say, would be from the 1990s action film, which has aged very well with time. Um, that being Demolition Man is a perfect example of how you do a very good, thorough, and thoughtful like world design, building and stuff, and the mythology into a supposed to like mindless action film. May have seemed, but once you learn more about the world and everything, it's funny enough how this film has aged better and better with time, where you can't really say that with the Fast films. It's nothing but cash grabs from Van Diesel, I'll be honest. Never was the biggest Van Diesel fan. At number 4 for the year, another one of easily my favorite movies of the year, was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, arguably the best comic book film of the year, and there is no rival in my opinion on that. I am very biased, as I think this definitely cements Guardians of the Galaxy as the best trilogy in the MCU, even as much as I love the Iron Man trilogy, and I'm an avid defender of Iron Man 3. But with that said, I can't deny love, especially that CGI otter really hit at the heartstrings and stuff for me in Guardians 3, as I've never mentioned really when it comes to animals and stuff, but my favorite animal of all time is small clawed Asian otters. So definitely hit me, given that's my favorite animal. And a big fan of Kentaro and Hannah. If you ever get a chance to check out that YouTube channel, I highly recommend it if you love otters. They're very well taken care of by their owners. You can tell they definitely have the money to be able to take good care, and the otters get treated very well, just like Auntie and Yui. Shout out to awesome Asian otter owners and channels out there that take good care of their otters. Unlike some other YouTube channels I've seen with otter stuff, that frankly boils my blood. But with that said, then we look at third for the year, Oppenheimer, making 950 million, deserves every penny. Another superb modern classic, I think, by Christopher Nolan. Definitely deserves a lot more love than it gets, in all honesty. Um, and I would put Oppenheimer probably in my top 5 favorite films of the year, in all honesty. With that said, probably my favorite movie of the year is the number 2. Sadly, it has lost the number 1 spot, but coming at number 2 for the year, making 1,361,000,000, was the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yes, though there were definitely issues with some of the voice casting, specifically uh, Cranky Khan, I'll be honest, blunt about it, that too. With that said, I've seen the movie 3 times. I love it. It's my favorite movie of the year, and it's probably not going to get dethroned. As a long-time fan, as somebody who has been a fan of Mario since Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, I'm a long-time fan, and have enjoyed many good classic platformers throughout the years from Nintendo. Has at least kept my love alive for definitely platformers. But that said, coming in number 1, I have not seen, and I probably will not see, because I really have no interest. Even if actors and stuff, I really enjoy uh, Gosling and also Marco Robbie and stuff. Personally, though, I prefer, at least of work I've seen, Marco Robbie as Harley Quinn, and also Marco Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street, which is a movie I highly recommend to people to check out if you actually enjoy stuff like that. But with that said, that is my thoughts on the top 20 films, at least as of right now of the year. And let's be honest, the Marvels movie is not even cracking the top 20. Heck, right now it's projected to lose 150 to 200 million dollars for Disney. That's what you get when you spend like 200 plus million dollars on a movie and 100 million to market. Stupid. That's my opinion. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time, and stay safe and have a good December, as we are just a few days away. See you soon.